model.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah, it's very, the second question is actually related to that, because you already have this strategy, you have the balanced scorecard, and you already have, gone through the various phases. So what has been the key drivers? You are one of the front runners, I would say, imagine, in the region, because not everywhere we will see these dimensions mapped and programs mapped to the strategic requirements and balanced scorecard. So, how did DUBAL take it up, so early in the day? Is it because of a leadership issue?
Yeah, if you take, let's say, governance in general, corporate governance, in which IT is only part of it.
Okay.
Yeah, it is, I think, the leadership of, of this company.
Okay.
Says we need to make sure that things are governed properly.
Okay.
And I think we have people, starting from our chairman and vice chairman,
okay,
who comes from, vice chairman is His Excellency Ahmad,
okay,
who's the governor of the IFC now.
Right.
So, a guy who believes in governance.
Okay.
I think it is all to do with leadership. You mentioned the word. It has to do with leadership. Especially with IT, yes, we started a journey.
Okay.
And within IT, we had to, let me say, gain credibility.
Okay.
And to gain credibility, it is not an easy job.
Okay.
I can tell you, it's very, very difficult. And then to do that, you really need to have good governance.
Okay.
And I talk about governance in general, assuming everything. For example, I'll give an example. It's always known, or it used to be known in IT, that projects always take longer time. They go over budget. You have a lot of scope variation.
Okay.
How do you really overcome that? We need good governance.
Okay.
So we started putting things to address those and benchmark ourselves.
Okay.
Initially even against ourselves,
okay,
because there is nobody you can benchmark against.
Okay.
But we looked at how many projects, for example, are delivered on time.
Okay.
And we took the time factor, then we took the cash flow factor, and now we take even the quality factor.
Okay.
So it is something that evolves.
So one that came out very loud out of that survey is that the visibility within the top management on risk and compliances are very less. So they are not at the levels where they can get some.
See, the problem is they view IT as technology.
Okay.
And that is really, yes, it has technology element, but
right,
it delivers business.
Okay.
So they don't see that. It takes time.
Okay.
If you go to US and Europe, that's much more advanced.
Okay.
I will not say in every organization, but 95% of organizations in the US realize that, IT is, it's really the business is happening through big technology. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that has been another question actually, in terms of your senior management involvement.
It's at the highest level, at the board level actually.
Okay.
So from the governance point of view,
okay,
there is first the audit committee, which is really the board.
Okay.
Okay. So they are involved.
Okay.
They even they make sure that IT is audited properly, and especially from the governance point of view.
Okay.
There is also, we also have an internal, we have a committee called Governance and Internal Control Committee.
Okay.
Okay, and that is headed by the group CFO, and now
okay,
it is the CFO.
Okay.
Okay, the CFO, and then myself as a CIO is a member,
okay,
and internal audit.
All right.
Okay, and corporate control. So this audit committee also reports to the CEO.
Okay.
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 And usually people who set up, sort of governance committees, they never include IT. This is company's governance committee, by the way, not IT's.
Correct.
Yeah. So from that kind of thing, it is quite, interesting that you have an IT guy
who is sitting in that. Yeah. Correct.
So you really have the CFO, the IT, the internal audit.
So getting an appropriate visibility
for the whole governance of the whole company.
Okay.
So there is an internal control committee, which which being a member of that really helps quite a lot as well.
Okay.
So there is a full commitment from the it's at the top level basically, the board level,
okay,
and the CEO and the other committees that are there.
Okay.
It is governance is a key thing, and that's really applies for corporate governance as well.
Correct.
And IT is just part of it. Yeah.
Is there any IT steering committee or at a higher level?
There used to be an IT steering committee,
okay,
which used to be the executive committee when IT was not part of executive.
Okay.
Okay. Now, since I am part of executive,
okay, so
the IT steering committee role is taken up by the
executive
committee role, because the same thing. So regularly I go and every once in a while and say these are you're going to do next year. So whatever needs to be done as a steering committee, that is done.
Presented like that.
Yeah.
Okay. Great.
Yeah. And we also have an IT governance committee.
Okay.
Okay, which is actually headed by myself.
Okay.
Okay, and it has all my direct reports and some of the key managers in IT.
Okay.
Okay, to make sure that IT governance is working properly, because in terms of IT governance, I am the one accountable for the company.
Correct.
Yeah, but we have that committee as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you have subsequent working committees?
Yeah, I have a
teams,
department
working
called
teams?
IT governance.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I have three people report to me. One
Okay.
is IT enterprise applications.
Okay.
Okay, which looks after all DUBAL enterprise application, including infrastructure, services, and so on.
Okay.
So what is really usually called IT manager.
Correct.
Okay, and I have one which is in charge of IT production.
Okay.
Why I say IT production? Because in the production area we sell technology,
Okay.
including boxes that we design and we do ourselves.
Okay.
So it's really to do with more of aluminium and technology.
Okay.
Not really there is applications as part of it.
Okay.
But that's what we call production.
Okay.
But in terms of really the business IT, the IT is the enterprise IT. And the third person is the manager IT governance.
Okay.
Okay, which looks after all governance and things like PMO, quality, documentation,
Okay. Assurance.
quality assurance, documentation, balance scorecard, all these performance management. It's all being done by them. Yeah. So having one IT governance section really
Helps
helps.
you. Yeah.
Helps a lot. Helps me and helps the team.
Correct.
Because their job is not a policing job. This is something that I want to highlight. A lot of people think governance means police. It's not the case.
Correct.
Same as well with audit. So their job is not to come and highlight to me this is not happening well. Their job is to make sure they support everybody and things are happening properly. And if there is any things need to be brought to my attention, they bring it to my attention, but then as a team work.
Correct.
It is not really a policing job. This is something that also I think quite a lot of people misunderstand it.